And you could hear a roar like a jet engine all over town. And at that point, we figured something really bad is going on. There's been an explosion or something. We had no point of reference of what this could possibly be.
All right, check out these flames from a gas pipeline explosion this week.
An explosion and massive fire raged to Colombia. That's top all over Russia.
Explosion in Mexico.
Or at least all going down to
I've never heard something that loud before. It shook everything inside of me.
It's 3 a.m., March 3rd, 2019, in my hometown, Mexico, Missouri. A pipeline explosion erupts throughout the town, just outside of city limits. The pipeline explosion is only 300 feet away from where me and my family were building our dream home. Nobody was hurt, but the house was destroyed instantly. I've tried to reach out to the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, who is now in charge of the official investigation, for a comment, but they have not responded. Here's what I do know. The pipeline is owned by Panhandle Eastern, who is owned by Energy Transfer. It was found that the pipeline was extremely corroded and rusted, and this had formed cracks in it. There also happened to be a power line running just above where the pipeline exploded. This is likely what sparked the explosion, but we don't know for sure. However, is that really the reason the pipeline exploded, or is it actually Panhandle's lack of proper maintenance and care to their pipeline? If Panhandle had done more safety tests and maintenance on their pipeline, wouldn't they have seen this problem coming before it turned into a disaster? Or is it just cheaper for them to let the pipeline explode and then pay off the damages? You know, it just makes me wonder. And this is the thing that really gets to me, is because you would think if they were regularly checking and testing for safety that, you know, you would catch an issue like this.
Run me through the events the night of the explosion, from waking up to figuring out what happened.
We woke up about 3 a.m. and the sky was orange, like the sun was rising.
And it was really orange outside and kind of flickery. So I shrugged into Matt and told him that something was going on, that it was loud. And
we knew something was wrong, and you could hear a roar like a jet engine all over town. We had no point of reference of what this could possibly be.
The first thing we kind of thought it was the train, depot area right down from the house where the trains cross and all that. Matt went out driving around to see if it was the high school or if people needed help, or to find out what was happening or what was burning. So we started to get you guys up, grab a few things, and we evacuated to his parents' house, to Nanny and Baba's house.
I kind of had a bad feeling, and I didn't really know it at the time, but I wanted to see what was going on, and I was one of those crazy people that was going toward the explosion when I probably should have been going away from the explosion. But I didn't, I've kind of pulled outside of town and parked and listened to the police scanner.
Tried to listen to the radio, the news, getting on Facebook and social media to see who knew what was happening.
And I realized it wasn't the high school, and it wasn't the MFA plant. And then they started to say that it was a pipeline explosion on Highway 15.
And he had a cousin that lived further down the road, and he's the one that said he could see our property burning.
And that there was a home construction out there that had just been destroyed. And I realized at that moment that, yep, that's us. And things were going to change for a little bit in our lives.
How lucky are we to be alive?
We're very lucky. And this is kind of what haunts me every once in a while at night. And at least half of us probably would be dead right now, if not all of us. You think about how hot it was It was so hot that a house a quarter mile away had the siding melted off of it, and the pipeline was just 100 feet away from our house, or a little bit more. Had we even escaped, could we even have survived getting the car down the driveway to turn and get away from it? Would the tires have melted? Would we have been so hot that we just wouldn't have been able to escape? Chances are very likely that none of us would have survived. We're so lucky that the weather delayed us being in the house when we probably should have been in the house. The construction was slowed down a little bit, and we just chalk that up as a blessing that we were kind of protected from that.
We should have been in the house probably for a while, and we weren't, and I'm very grateful to that. I think about, if one of us had perished, or some of us, or all of us, there's no good situation with that. Losing the stuff is okay, the building, the supplies, even changing your dream to something else is fine, but losing the people would have been devastating. And I have a heart for those that have been in similar situations and they did lose loved ones or family, or they know somebody that did, or people in countries where this happens. Unsafe things happen much more often. So I think we are blessed, and we are tasked with having compassion for those that go through similar things.
What was the first emotion you felt when you figured out our house was gone?
I think the first thing I felt was just shock, when that it was just gone.
What? As if I couldn't hear what he had said. I said all of the house, which doesn't make any sense at all, but I couldn't picture it burning, so I kept trying to picture the house and the sound and the size of what we were seeing in the sky, and I could not reconcile that in my brain.
This thing that we had kind of poured a lot of our lives into, and money, planning, and dreams, and just like that, it was wiped off the face of the earth.
So I had a little bit of a jump, and then unbelief, and then I don't know, what do you do? So we just kept waiting to hear more from the sheriff and the firefighter guys that were out there, but we didn't know a whole lot at that point.
And then it was relief that we weren't there. Our family wasn't there, our stuff wasn't there, the workers that worked on the house weren't there. So it's kind of a mix of shock and sadness, but also relief at the same time.
Are you content with how everything worked out?
Yeah. At the beginning, I was worried that we were going to be blamed for something, or our construction crew, or just the unknowns of how things were going to go.
After all was said and done, the insurance was involved, lawyers were involved, pipeline people, and it took a while. I think about 9 or 10 months of going through this process of getting things resolved legally and financially.
We had a great lawyer, and we had a lot of support from the community.
At the end of everything, we're doing fine. We obviously couldn't decide not to build out here. And in between all of that, someone put an offer on the house that we were currently in, and we kind of had to move on. And we found a place that we could buy that was actually kind of a forever home. So we ended up in a good place, to be honest. We still have this land out here that we can kind of come and garden and mess around with, but we have no plans of building out here anymore. It's not really a part of our dream anymore.
Do you think we'll ever know or be told how the pipeline ignited?
No, I doubt it.
I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know for sure.
When this first happened, there were investigations started, and
I just think the friction from the whatever cracked the pipe and all of that happened and hit that power line up above, I don't think it would have taken much for it to spark.
That all goes to the federal government, some agency, and it just gets deep sixed, and we'll probably never know. You know, they'll probably come up with some vague reason that it happened. They'll chalk it up to maintenance or corrosion or something like that, but there will be nobody that's at fault at the end of the day. And you know, that's okay. It's water under the bridge at this point, and we've kind of moved on.